Herbert Macaulay was raised to become exactly the kind of Nigerian the British colonial government wanted. His grandfather was the first African bishop in the Anglican Church. His father founded the country's first secondary school. Everything about his upbringing pointed toward a quiet, well-placed career inside the system he was born into. Instead, he built the first political party Nigeria ever had, and set the pattern Nigerian nationalist politics would follow for the next 4 decades. Herbert Macaulay was born in Lagos in 1864, into a family built for colonial service. His father, Thomas Babington Macaulay, founded the CMS Grammar School, Nigeria's first secondary school. His mother's father was Samuel Ajayi Crowther, the first African bishop in the Anglican Church. Macaulay passed through the same mission school system his family had helped build, and by his late teens he was working as a clerk in the Colonial Public Works Department. Every institution around him was preparing him to run the colony from the inside. In 1890, the colonial government sent Macaulay to Plymouth, England on a scholarship to study civil engineering. 3 years later he returned as Nigeria's first qualified civil engineer, with an architecture certificate from the Royal Institute of British Architects on top of it. The government rewarded him with one of the most trusted technical posts in the colony, surveyor of Crown lands, responsible for administering the very land system that would define so much of Nigeria's colonial-era conflict. He held the post for 5 years. Then, in 1898, he resigned, citing the racial discrimination built into the colonial civil service as his reason for leaving. The man the system had trained to run it had just refused to keep doing so. Turning the tools around, Macaulay set up as a private surveyor and turned the same technical and legal training the British had given him against the government that trained him. In 1908, he exposed corruption in the colony's railway finances. In 1915, he led the opposition to a steep hike in water rates. Both fights stayed local. Lagos-sized problems argued through Lagos institutions. The bigger test came when the colonial government seized land belonging to a group of Lagos chiefs. Macaulay took the case all the way to the Privy Council in London, the final court of appeal for the entire British Empire, and won. The chiefs got their compensation. Macaulay had just proven the colonial legal system could be beaten on its own terms, in its own highest court. None of this mattered without people behind it. Macaulay built his political base out of 2 groups the colonial administration consistently underestimated: the Lagos market women, organized under the leadership of Alamotu Pelawura, and the Lagos royal family, the House of Dosimo. Through the 1910s he became the most influential figure in Lagos politics without holding a single elected office. He worked through newspapers, petitions, and the loyalty of people who had every reason to distrust the colonial courts and had learned to trust him instead. By the early 1920s, Macaulay had the organizing muscle, the press instincts, and a proven record in the courts. The only thing missing was a vehicle built to hold all of it. In 1922, the British introduced a new constitution for the colony, the Clifford Constitution, which for the first time allowed Lagos to elect its own representatives. Only 3 seats were on offer, and only a small, wealthy slice of the population could vote for them. But an election was an election, and whoever organized first would control the field. On June 24, 1923, Macaulay founded the Nigerian National Democratic Party, the first political party Nigeria had ever had. The NNDP won all 3 seats in that first election, and went on to win every Lagos council election for the next 15 years. The system built to run the colony from the top down had just produced the man who would spend the rest of his life running politics from underneath it.